My question is to Dr. Ravi Damodaran. You mentioned few key takeaways in your slide, and I was noticing it very carefully. You mentioned BS6, and then you mentioned methane. Later on, you also mentioned CNG, and I will quote Dr. Dharmendra Pradhan, who is the minister. He told that we are coming up with 10,000 CNG stations in next 5 years or something like that. You also said something about the liquid nitrogen, which is a more fuel-efficient way as compared to the batteries. And the last thing was, even if we have the infrastructure ready for the EV, let's assume we have it ready, there is going to be a pollution overall in the country because India is overall thermal production as compared to wind or solar. So my question to you is, considering all these factors, and India is pushing in a big way towards EV. So all these factors for a startup company or maybe for a company which is planning to invest in EVs or batteries, is it discouraging or shall we take it as an opportunity? Because there are so many factors,
My personal advice, not my company's advice, my personal advice to all those who are investing in batteries, automotive sector will not be the first user of these new age batteries. It will be the storage sector. So if you are investing in batteries, new age technologies, look at the storage industry and the solar generation industry, because solar technologies require storage. That could be in the form of these batteries. But then I think you should be careful, because lithium is not the best suited for storage. There are other technologies, of course, emerging.
There is sodium as well.
Yes, so it needs a careful thought. That's why I think you should put the technologies in a roadmap to understand which you should pick up based on the factors that play out. Unfortunately, in this country, we are given a very short look at when policies will change. We don't have a long outlook for 10, 15 years like other countries do. So I would advise you to be very careful.
One last question, the gentleman there. He's been
I had a
raising his
question
hand.
here.
Keep it
Very
brief.
quickly, a question addressed to Mr. Prashanth. See, with the transition from BS4 to BS6, especially with respect to two-wheelers, there's going to be a sea change in which fuel is going to get inducted or injected into the engine. So from a point of view of preparedness for this quick change from carburation to injection, is the industry prepared in terms of supplying the industry with the millions of systems required, both for the injectors as well as for the ECU? That is number one. Number two is the market in terms of use, being trained or prepared in the application of these, because that is going to be rather a little bit more complex to absorb that technology, especially from the point of view of filtration of the fuel and the cleanliness of the fuel. And lastly, in terms of cost, maybe in terms of percentages, there's going to be an increase. These are the 3 points I'd like to
Okay. So I'll start from your last question. In terms of cost, yes, certainly there is a cost impact both from the ABS and also the EFI system. And we estimate that cost impact to be about 4,000 to 5,000 rupees to the manufacturer. And when it comes to consumer, it could be double. So certainly, I think there is a cost impact. And what we are doing to minimize that cost impact certainly is designing these products locally. So we are equipped today locally to completely design in terms of hardware, software, mechanical, hydraulic, and testing. And that's how we are making the product less expensive. And that's one. Number two, in terms of preparedness, I think certainly yes, with the deadline as of 1st of April, I think most of the suppliers who are going to be the source for this EFI system, I think they have geared up very well. And when it comes to, for example, Continental, we are going to go from 0 to say about 5+ million units. And that's the volumes we are looking at. Certainly, yes, as of now, it's smooth and we don't foresee any issues in terms of migration. And that's the reason OEs also started to produce pre-production vehicles, or start to produce pre-production vehicles from April. So those vehicles will be used for extensive mileage accumulation test, and also in terms of training the dealers.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Number one is resale value of electric vehicles which are available as on date. They don't have any resale value, therefore, financing banks or private institutions, they are not financing the vehicles. They are not keen in financing the vehicles. And to counter this, we shouldn't look at the government. We should look at the manufacturers who should pass subvention to increase and boost the sales. No manufacturer is doing any subventions like other Yamaha or any other companies are doing. And then secondly, resale value. To bring confidence to financer, all electric manufacturers should give some minimum guaranteed repurchase price to bring confidence in the banks.
Okay.
And like for electric rickshaws and all, Mudra loan scheme is doing very well because this is a government scheme. And normal finance scheme, due to low resale and then high maintenance, this is not working out.
Okay.
So it has to be done by manufacturer itself, self-help. We shouldn't look at the government.
Okay, that's a suggestion. I don't know how viable a suggestion is it because manufacturers themselves as the industry come under duress.
Oh, very good idea. It will bring some companies to bankruptcy soon.
But yes, on that note, we come to the end of this session.